Hello. Phew. We are back again with some more Kathy fucking rain. I grabbed some coffee because I am tired. But I fucking spilled the coffee. Alright, we were gonna go do shit. Oh, we got music.
Alright, I'm off. Peace outie.
That was loud.
Okie dokie. Good luck and see you later.
You know what I like to have in my coffee? Hey, I can go to the older locations, that's good. It annoyed me last episode that I couldn't leave and go anywhere. That was really putting me to sleep. I want to check out the cemetery. I like the music that plays here so much.
No reason to go in there.
There's that little jingle.
Family mausoleum. The family must have been fairly rich. Those things...
Yeah. Those have to be relevant. It's the only thing with a use icon on it. I love these coffee mugs. They're dirt cheap, but they're awesome. I love the color scheme. Nice mixture of wood colors. It's like simple but abstract, you know. Rain residence. Probably nothing of interest here, or here, or here, or here, or here. Let's go to some of the new places. I'll be more talkative now that I got my coffee. And there's more to do. Trash can.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Sorry, I can't resist this shit, you know.
Yep, it's full
like
of trash.
catnip.
Figure that.
It's catnip. I have to, like, see. Like, I know it's not going to progress this game.
We meet again, Mr. Homeless Guy.
Homeless? That's the worst thing I ever heard of, and totally untrue.
So, what's up with the trash can? Digging for treasure?
Well, I'm just going through a rough
The
patch.
jail friend guy.
By the way, you owe me $10.
He's just got a story arc.
Nah, you agreed to 7.
You're busting my balls here.
Yeah, pay
Better
up.
get those balls checked out in this clinic then.
So cold. Like a stake through the heart.
What do they call you anyway?
Goober. Everyone calls me Goober.
Alright, I'm Kathy.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure. What's...
So, what's your story anyway?
My story?
Yeah, don't all bums have a story?
For your information, this is all just a dry streak in my showbiz career.
Is that so? I don't recognize you at all.
I used to have more hair.
That I actually believe.
Come on, man. Frankie Gold is my stage name. Surely you must have heard of me.
Not really, no.
Oh, come on. I have starred in dozens of Hollywood movies. The Silence of the Lambert, Jacob's Bladder, The Usual
Lambert.
Surprises, Natural Born Killers.
Not ringing any bells.
Porn.
Kids these days, no appreciation for quality cinema. Breaks my heart.
Porn star. Yeah, porn star. Sorry, my hand itches like crazy. I spilled coffee on it. It burned. Yeah. But then the hand itchy too.
So, tell me about this acting career of yours.
Yeah, tell me more.
What about it?
Tell me about The Silence of Lambert.
Does that have Christopher
Lawrence
Lambert?
Lambert, a real estate agent, suddenly turns mute overnight. For weeks, he tries to communicate with customers using a self-invented sign language, only to realize that true love needs no communication at all. He marries his housekeeper, who only knows 2 words in English, yes and clean. In the end, Lawrence dies of a heart attack in the arms of his lovely wife, Consuelo Lambert Vasquez,
Not Christoph Lambert.
based on a
Yeah,
true
yeah.
story.
I'm not sure I want to know what Jacob's bladder is about, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Jacob's bladder. The tragic story of Jacob Cobb, a schizophrenic man who forms an imaginary romantic relationship with his bladder. During long and joyful monologues on the can, he starts referring to his nether regions by the name of Jenny. Sadly, before Jacob has a chance to elope with his sweetheart, he gets committed to an asylum due to increasingly erratic behavior. After a big fight with his paramour, Jacob refuses to pee for a week and he dies from a ruptured bladder.
Give me the rundown on the usual surprises.
Yeah, these aren't that funny.
A lighthearted comedy taking place during the surprise birthday party of a 34-year-old Sid McBacon. The story is told from 8 different perspectives to keep the audience guessing who the protagonist actually is. The movie ends with the biggest surprise of them all. Sid suddenly dies of an epileptic seizure. I guess it's more of a dark comedy.
Natural bald killers?
It's a dystopian vision of the future where people are valued by the quality of their hair. The protagonist, Eddie Zephyr, turns bald in high school. One day, he has simply had enough of all the teasing and the bullying, and he completely snaps and heads out on a scalping spree in search of the perfect head of hair. Eddie makes his way to Mexico for an illegal hair transplant. However, he has an adverse reaction to the anesthesia and he dies on the operating table.
Why do you always die at the end of your movies?
Typecasting.
Oh, never mind.
Not the cultured type.
I need to ask you,
Sounds sick.
do you know what happened to Joseph Rain in '81?
I most certainly do.
What? Tell me.
Are you sure you want to know? Not everyone can handle the truth.
Oh, just spit it out.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Abducted by aliens.
I should have known better.
Oh, I saw it, man. A big, huge light. I was a bit drunk at the time, but I had my reasons. My wife had just left me, taking the dog, not to mention I was being conscripted for the war. But I'm telling you, those goddamn aliens took him and they experimented on him. And that's why he was so messed up when they put him back.
I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Government.
Open your mind, man.
Probably did see something.
Do you know who Lily Myers was?
Yep, my dad was the one who found her floating in the lake.
Really? What can you tell me about her?
Ah, geez, not a lot. I mean, teenage girls, man, they're like their own species. Impossible to figure out. Not to mention how that entire family ain't, like, people-friendly.
Now that's an understatement. Nearly started brawling with Sue the first time I met her.
She could sure deal out a mean whooping, that lady.
Do you know who Charles Wade is?
Sure, he's been holed up in this clinic for the last couple of weeks.
You saw Charles Wade go in there?
Well, yeah, I just told you, man.
How did he look?
Okay, I guess. Still walking, at least.
Do you recognize...
Why, I used to call myself that back in Nam. Oh, how I miss that marvelous youthful ego of mine.
Why do I even bother? What do you know about Lily Myers' art?
Nothing but hearsay. People say it was pretty deranged.
What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy
Lunatics,
Trinity?
all of them.
I'd say they're good people. Isaac the priest is, anyway. His dad, Father Bill, on the other hand, though, he and the people he had around him were into some weird shit.
What kind of weird shit?
I don't know, they were like a cult or something. Billy prays himself at the top. Really shifty bunch of folks. Isaac turned it all around when his dad kicked the bucket, made it a proper church.
Interesting. Do you know anyone else who was involved in the old church?
Not really. I try to stay as far away from those people as possible. Ask Isaac about it. He's a friendly guy.
Put my video
All right,
down for a second.
I might do that.
We're gonna ask Isaac some shit.
Do you know anything about this flower?
It's red?
Enlightening.
You asked the wrong guy. It's your fault, but it's my fault. I want to run out all the dialogue branch options. I don't think this is a particularly long game.
Do you know what this is?
Chinese
still
fireworks, of
sick.
course. I grew up in Shanghai. I know what I'm talking about.
It's my nose.
They
It's
used to
all
call
that
me
stuffy
Dunk
and
Pie,
mucusy. I know, I shouldn't
meaning
even be
round-eyed
smoking.
baldy.
Smoking's not
Those
helping.
were some rough years. I miss the food,
Not helping at
not to
all.
mention the women. Got 2 kids down there now, Maylin and little Ping.
Time to hit the off switch now, buddy. I don't need... Do you know what this key opens?
Probably not.
Your heart, mademoiselle?
Oh, brother.
Uh,
Do you recognize these men?
probably not.
That's your granddad, right?
Okay.
Yeah. What about the other two?
No idea. I think my face blindness is acting up again.
Okay. I don't need...
Didn't think so.
Want to smoke, buddy?
Nah, I got stage 2 lung cancer. I'm keeping it under control with a fruitarian diet.
I don't need to... I could, but only if I had... I don't need...
Just checking.
Okay,
one ever needs
that's
to
enough
see the
serious
notebook.
questions for now.
But I always like
Alrighty.
seeing what she has to say about the taser.
Okay.
Bye!
Alright, we know everything we know from him. Alright, exit.
No thanks. Women's magazines make my...
Yeah,
A
mine
calendar
too.
from 1991.
I'm
Guess they
becoming
really
impatient.
liked that year.
Need to stop double clicking.
No thanks. Women's magazines make my brain melt. Rows and columns of files. Probably easier to use the computer if I need to do some digging.
Huh, that was easier than I thought.
No point. I wouldn't even know what room to...
So I want to see if she'd let me, if she's like an obstacle, you know.
Smoking allowed. Guess this place is a bit behind on healthcare regulations.
Huh.
She looks bored out of her mind.
Alright, see if there's anything.
I can't read it from here. Excuse me.
Nurse.
Hey, nurse! Yeah?
She shouldn't bully nurses.
Somebody around here hates their job.
No shit. What do you want?
I'm here to see Charles Wade.
Never heard of him. Anything else?
Bullshit. I know he's here. Listen, it's okay. I'm a friend of the family.
No, you're not, and I said he's not here. Don't make me call security.
What a bitch. I need to get rid of her somehow.
Not really a bitch. She's just like, you accuse her of being lazy. Even if she's still like chilling out, could be her break. Could be her downtime.
Rose and... Uncomfortable, hard...
Smoke. Maybe she hates smoking.
I prefer to smoke out. I prefer to...
Who cares? It's not your place. The idea is to fuck with her to want to leave.
I can't read it from here.
Jesus.
I can't read it
you
from
need
here.
glasses? It's not that far away.
Was expecting plastic, but...
Alright, how do we get rid of her? What's around here? Files. Let's just do it old-fashioned way.
I wish, but she'd just call security on me.
Does she have a phone?
I don't want to show her.
If she had a phone, I could play like one of those messages for her.
No thanks.
Alright, this place is useless for now. Exit. Shit. it. There we go. Church. Let's see this infamous church. Have I been here?
Hello, Father.
Greetings, my child. I'm glad you decided to come here.
Yeah, but just so you know, I'm not here to join your church or anything.
Oh, I would never assume that.
Good. So, with that out of the way, I have some questions.
Anything you need. I'm Isaac Price.
Kathy Rain, but I'm guessing you figured that out already.
I did. Rumors spread quickly around here. So how can I be of service?
Father, do you know anything about this flower?
No, my child. Nothing at all.
That's a good opener. I have something to ask you. You know anything about this flower? Key?
Do you know what this key opens?
I'm afraid not, my child.
I don't need to show.
He's like so sad he can't answer the question, I'm afraid. Oh,
Do you recognize the men in this picture, Isaac?
Only your grandfather, and that's just because I was given a similar picture for the service the other day.
I don't need to show. I sincerely doubt it will come to that.
Alright, that takes care of the items.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather at 81?
Probably not.
It was the work of the devil, I'll say that much.
What?
Joseph was a kind man. He did not deserve such a fate. You heard my speech at the funeral, Kathy. I meant every word. He was a great man who did much good for this community.
That's a
Did you
bizarre
know him
thing to say,
personally?
work of the devil. He just
In a
died.
way, he and my father did charity work together.
Well, I guess they don't talk
Joseph
about
was
the
around
incident.
a lot when I was young. They collaborated on a few different projects for the homeless and for the troubled youth, among other things.
So my grandfather was a member of the church?
I wouldn't say that, no. He was a friend of the church, but he wasn't a religious man. He believed only in philanthropy. That being said, Joseph was the person who convinced me to become a priest.
Really?
Oh yes, I was a teenager back then, full of rebellion, every fiber of my being wanting to distance myself from my father. Joseph made me realize my sinful pride and showed me how I should follow my heart regardless of what others might think. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Does the name Lily Myers mean anything to you?
No.
It does. I was a substitute teacher in her high school for some time before I was ordained.
Really? Did you know her personally?
We weren't close. I only knew her as much as a teacher would know any student.
All right,
Small
so
town, I guess.
how did she seem toward the end?
For one, she started skipping school a lot. And when she did show up, she was absent-minded and moody. She always looked depressed and hunched down like she had a whole world on her
So
shoulders.
the church.
Any idea of what caused this change?
Not a clue. All I know is that when she returned from that last summer break, she was a whole different person.
Summer break. Last summer break. Weird though that a member of the church was in her school and had eyes on her. Seems like this church could be culty.
What's your opinion on Charles Wade?
Who is Charles
No
Wade?
opinion. He used to be a prominent figure around here, but he doesn't appear much in town these days.
Actually, he's in the community clinic right now, getting medical treatment.
Oh, I wonder if it's serious. Perhaps I should go talk to him. Even men like Charles Wade need a priest when they're nearing the end of the line.
Do you know anyone who goes by the nickname Cocky?
I have no idea. Sorry.
Do you know anything about Lily Myers' art?
I saw a few pieces. Gorgeous work. Vibrant, surreal landscapes.
When was this?
Must have been mid-70s. The high school had open days with an art exhibition.
So, this was some time before she changed, right? You didn't see any of her later work?
No. By then she started skipping art class completely from what I heard.
Maybe she was afraid of what she might draw. I hear it was pretty twisted.
Could be, but alas, I suppose we'll never know what was truly haunting her.
I'm doing my best to find out. I don't believe the story to be as clear-cut as everyone makes it out to be.
An unusual theory. How so?
People have taken a particular interest in her art. I think there's more to it.
I wouldn't read too much into it. It happens to all dead artists with any talent to speak of.
Yeah.
Care to tell me the history of the church?
I'd be happy to. The story is a fascinating one. This church was founded by my father, William T. Price, in the 70s. Back then, he made his living as a traveling salesman and was driving through this area as he'd done so many times before. However, this day was different. My father held dark thoughts in his mind. He was angry, thinking of evil deeds, even considering swerving off the road into a rock and ending it all. Then suddenly, divine intervention. 3 bright lights appeared. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the sign of God. This epiphany was the moment my father had been waiting for. He sold all of his belongings and took me and my brother to live with him here in Conwell Springs. Soon thereafter, he built this church and started gathering followers. They began to refer to him as Father Bill.
I take it that window up there resembles what he saw when he had this epiphany?
Indeed, the stained glass window depicts the Holy Trinity as witnessed by my father.
Do you know exactly when or where this event took place?
Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious. It's a captivating story.
Well, it was in the spring of 1971, but my father never told anyone where.
Okay, so what happened then?
People flocked to Father Bill. He started teaching, writing scripture. The church flourished and continued to grow all the way up until his sudden death in 1983. That's when I stepped in to take leadership of the church.
I take it that the church started declining after the death of Father Bill?
Yes, naturally so. With such a magnetic personality, he was irreplaceable. But I assure you the church is still very much thriving.
Make sure my video came back up. I always try to test that.
Looks kinda empty to me.
It's not really our peak hours.
What's up with you handing out pamphlets at funerals then? Trying to reel people in at a weak moment?
I'm going to assume you meant no disrespect, child. I'm simply providing divine guidance when it's needed the most.
I don't need to show.
Don't really have much to ask him.
I could, but I think I'll keep it to myself.
I was just saying maybe she trusts him more. I don't, but...
That's all I need for now, Father.
May the Lord shine his light on you.
I want to make sure I run out every choice before I, ooh. I'm sure he'll let me have a Bible.
I really shouldn't. They might burn. A bunch of red Bibles stacked in neat... It's an altar.
It should.
Locked.
Yep.
Nope. Not.
I don't think so. Alright, nothing that can be done. Nothing, click on back here. Bibles. Oh! There we go. Now we're talking.
Huh. Even I wouldn't stoop that low.
Yes! Yes! I gotta love that shit. It's like all the trophies are for doing like really bad shit. That's pretty funny. Yeah, not much to really go to nature for. Oh. It's a mirrored photo.
Well, this is it. This is where the picture was taken. I'm not sure what I expected to find here. I need to clear my head.
Yeah. Good idea.
What the?
We've met before, haven't we?
I don't think so, Mr. Clean. Unless seeing your face on a bottle of detergent counts.
Always the joker, aren't you, Kathy?
Who are you? How do you know my name?
You told me, remember?
I feel strange. Am I dreaming?
It's the mending I will try to facilitate.
You're not real. I'm lying asleep in my bed right now.
Focus, Kathy. Listen to the drowned girl.
You mean Lily? What about her?
She's the anomaly, the missing refrain, the convergence point of things past and events yet to happen.
Dial down the metaphors a notch, would you, Mr. Kafka? I get enough of that shit in English class.
I knew you wouldn't disappoint. I'm glad, given how much trouble I went through to be here. You see, my name was taken from me, so I claimed a color in its stead. The next time we meet, you'll know the exact hue of red. You're on the right path, Kathy. Follow your grandfather, and everything will work out in the end.
I wasn't done with that place.
Wait, what? How did I get here? Am I going crazy? Am I turning into Mom?
I'm going back there. I was not done. I want to see if it keeps happening.
Hello? Creepy bald guy. Guess no one's home. What's this?
Good man.
A bald man dressed in red. Oh, creepy. Looks like a specimen of the red.
Let's smell some.
It's endangered. I'm not gonna take it without a really good reason.
Yeah. Lung cancer. Damn. Don't just throw them away though, they're expensive. She'll say something.
I'll try most things once, but I think I might have a better use for it.
Yep. Let's see what we do. Oh, we got a piece of paper. Red guy. Left side.
Oh, hello, dear.
Hi, Grandma.
Sure, hon.
Yeah, I think she always just says the same thing.
Do you know anything about this flower, Grandma?
I
Probably not.
can't say that I do. I remember seeing it growing in the woods, but I didn't think much of it at the time.
I don't know what else.
What do you see in this picture, Grandma?
I have no idea, but it's quite an eerie display. What is it?
I'm trying to figure that out. I found the picture hidden in the attic.
Oh, come to think of it, the trees do look similar to the ones in Conwell Woods.
Yeah, it was taken somewhere in that area. I found out that the flower in the picture matches a rare local species.
Aren't you clever? Do let me know if you come across anything else.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Bye, Grandma.
Up so long.
Yeah. Already dicked around enough. Guess there's not much else here. Hey, find more glasses. Check out the sheriff's station. Let's talk to him.
Hey, Lenny.
Hello, Kathy.
How much?
Nah, I don't want to. Hey, Lenny, do you recognize this flower?
Yeah, I accidentally inhaled pollen from one of them when I was a kid. I remember being sick and delirious for days.
Scary.
So it's
Where did you come
common
across
to come
this
across
flower?
these flowers.
Somewhere in Conwell Woods. Not sure where exactly.
All right.
It's something to do with the sound involving hallucinations, mass hallucinations, like an X-Files episode.
I already asked him. Do you know what this is?
I have no idea. Looks creepy, whatever it is. Where did you get it?
Grandpa had it hidden away in the attic.
Probably for a good reason, then. Be careful out there.
There's not much else to say on anything.
Well, gotta go.
See ya.
I think she might like say something with the guy in red, like, "Oh man, I was poisoned and knocked out."
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
I don't want to. Do you recognize this flower?
Matter of fact, I do. It's a local endangered plant with mild narcotic properties.
Yeah? Have you come across any users in the area?
Sure, but it's a bit tricky to do anything about it. Using it as a substance is technically illegal.
Ah, so the illegal part is picking it in the first place.
Yes, knowingly picking the flower is a crime, according to the Endangered Species Act of 1973.
Gotcha. Thanks. Do you know what this is?
Ah, it's just some kids playing pranks with flashlights.
Okay, that pretty much rules out everything. Yeah. No other choices.
That's all for now.
Good.
Good.
Just some photo. A photo of the sheriff shaking hands with some bald guy in a suit. Probably the mayor.
Huh. I guess that's all. I haven't checked into this place in a second. Like, no way to distract her. Big sidekick. Go here.
Oh, it's you.
Blah blah blah. Oh shit.
No Nathan today?
Nah, haven't seen Nate all day. Probably out in the woods.
That must be Lily. She seems very happy. Is this how Nathan still sees himself? As a little boy?
Oh shit.
The left half is torn off. Looks like Nathan knows the strange red man. I need to talk to him about this.
That's kind of creepy now.
Looks like they barely touch. I had a few more questions, Sue.
Shoot.
Do you know who the red man is?
Oh, that's just Nate's imaginary friend. The red man has been around ever since my boy was little.
I see. So there's no actual person in town he could be referring to?
No way! According to Nathan, the red man hasn't changed in 30 years.
The red man actually exists. I met him in the forest.
What? That's crazy talk. Stop kidding around.
Do you know anything about...
Sure. Smoked it.
Yeah? What was it like?
Similar to pot, but stronger and more unpredictable. Never touched this stuff after I got pregnant with Lily.
All right. Sue, what do you see in this picture?
My God, that looks like one of Lily's paintings.
Wow, really? Can you describe it?
It was a nighttime scene, just like the photo, but the lights were floating above the lake. There was a pale hand reaching up from beneath the surface trying to touch them. The forest in the background was on fire, making the sky purple and red. There were probably other details too, but that's what I can remember.
Sounds captivating. Wish I could have seen it. I think I'm gonna head off.
Sure thing.
We got an adventure to start off.
Hello, Isaac.
I'm all ears.
This may sound strange, but have you heard of or seen a strange man dressed in red?
Only our Lord and Savior Jesus. Surely his rags were drenched in blood as he lay upon the cross.
That's not what I meant. I mean someone here in Conwell
He
Springs.
is always with us, my child.
Are you joking? I haven't seen a person like that, no.
Why does everyone think she's like so joking? Dressed in red.
That's all I need from
May the
Didn't
Lord...
say- She didn't say a fucking werewolf. Alright, let's take a crack at this. Okay.
Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi!
So, how good an actor are you?
The best! The very best!
You know, that nurse in there, she said she loved you in all those movies, and that she always wished you'd give her a live performance.
I knew it. She always gave me these strange looks. I thought it was contempt, but her face must just be cramping up from shyness.
Yeah, that's definitely it. She'd love to see you act, I'm sure.
I'm gonna have to oblige. Which movie do you think she'd like the best?
Definitely Jacob's Bladder.
I like Natural Born
I'm feeling the
Killers
pressure.
the best on that list. But I like Jacob's Bladder. Sounds like urine's involved.
Oh, Jenny, everything is forgiven. You and me were like peas and carrots.
Rows and columns of...
I'm just so full of your
Pretty sure she would object.
love that I think I'm about to burst. Jenny, where did you go?
Again? No
I don't
thanks.
feel so
I'm gonna have
good.
to think outside the box.
Thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience.
That wasn't really an electrifying performance. I'll have to intervene somehow. Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Sure?
Natural bald killers would be the...
Bald move. Fernando, you've been such a good friend. I can't thank you enough for making me whole again.
I don't want to burn
Turn
that.
his scalp into a breathtaking golden carpet, such as the world has never seen.
Rows and columns of...
Okay, Doctor, I'm counting down now.
A calendar
10,
for smoking.
9, 8, 7, 6.
I don't want to...
Thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience.
Good idea, but it wouldn't match his symptoms.
Wait, she's gonna stun gun him? Of all the people she's willing to like do that to, it's him. He's honestly done nothing but help her out.
Hey, doof.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Sure?
Probably...
Oh, I'm...
But this one, he'll just move around without talking. Then I'll stun him.
No thanks. When...
Oh, I wish I could speak. I have so many things left to say. My chest, no! It can't be! Hold me!
Good idea, but...
Thank you, thank you. You've been a
Good
great
idea, but-
audience.
Hey.
Sure?
How about...
Business.
Seizure.
I can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell? Bacon? Oh, Bobby, my head hurts.
Nurse! He's seizing!
Oh, shit!
Not this again.
Employee of the Month, Carlita Mendez. What a joke. It's that obnoxious nurse. Rose and...
Damn it, I'm actually gonna try to do it. Can I do the thing where I fuck up her computer?
Nah, I don't see any reason to...
Charles Wade. Shit. Hey, Charles. Oops. There we go. Medical patients on. Here we go. Patient has undergone successful invasive heart surgery. Was transferred to his facility. The initial prognosis looks good, and the patient is likely to make a full recovery in 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. 6B. Oh, what's her name? Linda. Fuck. Lena. How do I go back? Oh. Lily Mine. Fuck. Lily Myers. Lily Myers. Ah, shit. Okay. I guess we're going to 6B.
It's all right, Claude.
Understood, sir.
So, you managed to find me.
I did.
Well, let's get this over with then. How do you want your pictures? Shall I get some tubes to fill my face with? Will that suffice for your front page?
I'm no journalist. Well, not yet anyway.
Ah, she's but a cub. So, you're hoping for your big break. Surely this must be worth an internship at one of the big papers. Do you want me to call Thompson at the Times and get it over with? I still play golf with him every once in a while.
That's not what this is about. It's personal.
Sounds serious. Perhaps I should ask Claude to produce his gun.
You know, Charles, the person most likely to be harmed by a gun tends to be its owner.
That's not true.
Very true.
No,
That's
it's
something
not.
the Japs who captured me learned the hard way.
Did my grandfather bail you out then too, or was that one of the few times where he didn't save your sorry ass?
Hold on there. Explain yourself.
You're willing to listen to something other than your own voice? I'm stunned. I'm Kathy Rain. Joseph was my grandfather.
Now I remember. You were at the funeral.
I was.
You were late.
I needed my morning smoke. Besides, it's not like Grandpa was going anywhere.
Oh, just look at her, Claude. She's absolutely fearless. That's Joseph's blood running through her veins.
Yeah.
She certainly has a smart mouth, sir.
I must say, you have me intrigued, Kathy. What can this old man help you with?
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in '81?
I wish I did, Kathy. You must know I did everything in my power to help. How do you think Mary Elizabeth could afford all that expensive treatment? MRIs, neurologists, say what you will about Joseph. But he was never rich.
Strange. Grandma never mentioned that to me.
She's just too proud. At first she refused. She was convinced that I had an agenda, that there were strings attached.
And were there?
Don't be silly. Despite all that had happened, I still loved Joseph dearly. I wanted to help. People from places like this have a deeply rooted mistrust in the rich, passed on for generations. In her eyes, I had become one of them.
So that's all you know about the whole affair?
Are you implying that there's more to know? I left the diagnosis to the professionals. Mrs. Rain accepted the health care, but asked me to stay out of everything else. So I did.
I see. What can you tell me about your friendship with Grandpa?
Joseph was the best friend I ever had. We grew up together, married our high school sweethearts together, went to war together. I can't even begin to count the number of times he's saved my life. I repaid the favor once or twice, but he came up ahead, no doubt.
So, when did you two lose touch? I heard that happened between you and him. What was it?
The truth is, Brian Rain happened. Sharon Evans happened.
What's Brian?
My parents?
Yes. They ruined everything with their vile, destructive behavior. I couldn't have that around my daughter or my newborn grandson. Joseph was naive. He believed that anyone could be helped, that anyone could be reasoned with, given a chance. He was just too good, bless him. He should have been harder on Brian, more strict.
Is it?
So our family started drifting apart.
I don't think she
Eventually
does
my
her
company
family well
grew
enough
much
to
too
say
large
what
for
they
this
go
little
about
town, and we moved on. Not long after that, your grandfather ended up in that wheelchair. That marked the end of our friendship, for obvious reasons.
You bought a number of paintings by Lily Myers. Why?
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs. Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued by an expert who determined that the value was 3 times the amount I bought it for. Today, I'm sure I would have made my money back tenfold or more if it wasn't for the art theft.
What art theft?
There was a burglary at the mansion I used to own here in town. It was all over the local news at the time.
Well, shit.
Eloquently put.
What can you tell me about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like any other church to me. But then again, I'm not their usual clientele. Weddings, baptisms, and funerals are just about...
Do you recognize the call sign Cocky?
Would be strange if I didn't, since I was the one who coined it. It belongs to a fellow named Jimmy Cochran. He was a coward, really. The nickname is somewhat of a bad joke.
Perfect. Thanks. Tell me about Jimmy Cochran. Is he still alive?
In a literal sense, he's been held in a mental institution for years.
Let me guess. Since 81?
Either 82 or 83. I'm fairly certain it was early 83.
Close to the incident.
Do you remember the name of the institution?
Something starting with an E. Emerson, Everton, or similar.
Ingstrom? Ingstrom Psychiatric Hospital?
Yes, that's the one. You know the place, Kathy.
I want to know. I don't know if she'll say it if I don't.
I do. My mother is in there. Sharon Evans? I had her committed about a year ago.
I see. It must have taken a lot of courage to do that, Kathy. Mothers have a lot of power over us. More than most of us care to admit.
I guess so. Do you know why Jimmy ended up in there?
Some obsessive-compulsive syndrome. He became fixated with circles and started hurting himself, trying to scratch the circles out of his head.
Creepy. I wonder what set him off. I think I'll check the place out tomorrow. Too late to head back to the city now. Can you tell me about the art theft?
Well, somebody broke in, stole the paintings, and got out. Fairly clumsy job. Lots of broken windows. The strangest thing was that I had a Monet, a Rembrandt, and 2 paintings by Picasso, untouched. But every single painting by an unknown local artist, gone.
That can't be a coincidence.
Agreed. Somebody wanted those paintings badly.
I assume there was an investigation.
Yes, Sheriff Truman came by with his deputy a few hours later, but they didn't have much luck. They found a few hairs, which turned out to be from Ruffles, the family dog.
Yeah.
Some stunning police work right there.
Indeed. There was a single witness, though,
They get along pretty
who
good.
said he could make out multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime, but nothing more than that.
That
So,
Nathan.
I take it the case was closed?
Yes. I honestly didn't care much one way or the other, given the fact that my most expensive pieces were safe and sound.
I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff about the matter, if that's okay with you.
Certainly. I'll call ahead and instruct him to give you everything you need.
Yay.
That'd be great. Thanks, Charles.
Anytime. But I'm curious, what's your interest
After
in
this part,
paintings?
I'm gonna.
I've
wrap
learned that my grandfather
part
went to
4
Sue and asked to see them,
4 and 5.
right before he had his injury.
Injured.
Is that so? Strange.
I don't need to ask him about that. He's being cooperative at the moment. I shouldn't put... I don't need to... I don't need to...
Yeah, please.
Do you recognize this, Charles?
Of course. Your grandfather, me, Jimmy Cochran. Taken shortly before we went to the war.
You guys look like you just won the lottery or something.
Indeed. We were mere children, with no concept of what we were getting into.
Do you know what this is?
A flower. Why don't you consult a botanist instead of bothering?
What do you see in this picture, Charles?
Fireflies would be my best guess. They can grow terribly large around.
Okay, not helpful. Alrighty.
Thanks, Charles. That's all I need for now.
You're welcome.
Let's investigate this room.
A private phone. A private phone. Wade must get special
Okay.
Just some boring...
Yeah. Not interesting.
Looks like Wade brought some of his old tunes with him. I'd rather not. He'd crush me like a twig.
Show me.
I am not suicidal, thanks.
Yeah.
I don't need to show... I don't need to show him that.
Offer him a smoke. Alright, so that's all we can do. Nothing else here. Alright. I don't think it'd be easy to get back here. Make sure. exit, I guess. Bet you can't go to like city blocks. It's all. Guess what else is fun?
Hey, Lenny.
Talk to dipshit first.
Hello, Kathy. What's up?
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
Probably not.
Not really, Kathy.
Nah, I don't want to.
Oh.
Well, gotta go.
See ya.
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions? Do you know who?
Nope.
Probably not. This
Do
is
you know
what-
anything about the art theft in the Wade estate?
Yes, Mr. Wade phoned ahead about that. Lenny!
Yes, boss.
Get the report from the burglary in the Wade estate back in '86.
On it, boss.
Yay.
There you go, Kathy.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. I'll hang on to it for now. Hey, do you mind if I use this phone here?
Sorry, that's not allowed.
Mm. 86. The alarm in the Wade estate is triggered. The house is empty. Damn, that's like actually 5 days after I was born. That's crazy. Weird just to see that birth date or that fucking date on shit. Alright, Office spray, blah 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 blah. Looking for that witness. Franklin Goldfarb.
I gotta find this Goldfarb guy. Maybe he knows more about the burglary.
Talk to them about
Hey, Lenny.
it while we're
Hello,
here.
Kathy.
Here. Yeah.
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb
Probably
mean anything
not.
to you?
Sounds familiar.
I'll hang on to it for.
Well, tell
Well,
him that
gotta-
See
he's
ya.
the witness. Stop for right now. I'm gonna stop right here, and this will be part 4, I think, unless I'm miscounting. I'll be back. I'll probably go straight into part 5.